attacks are on UK military. Why do we continue to allow and encourage these scumbags to immigrate into our countries? Whether it's the U.S., Australia, wherever. Statistically, Muslim asylum and immigration significantly increase the risk of terrorism to the host country. That is the unavoidable conclusion that Western societies, including the society, the countries over in the European Union, they need to realize this. You let these people in when their numbers get to be 20% of the population, there is no longer any peace. It gets horrible. And we're going to cover some of these horrible events here in just a second. In fact, let's switch past this one and this one. Okay, back again to the UK. I covered this one on Patriot Radio Show earlier in the week on Monday or Tuesday. In the UK, and this is not April 1st. You're going to think this is unreal. If a Muslim marries a 3-year-old, and they're allowed to do this, if the Muslim man marries a 3-year-old in his home country, and then he moves to the United Kingdom, he is allowed to have his wife join him. And he is allowed to continue raping this 3-year-old child because he is legally wed. And the UK doesn't have the courage to stand up and protect these children. Now you have to be, I believe it's 18 to get married in the UK. But if you are legally married to a child, you can have this child join you, and then you can rape this child before sending her to 3rd grade or 1st grade. This is beyond sick, my friends. In Islam, marrying children is acceptable. In fact, it is encouraged. Muhammad himself married his favorite wife when she was 6 years old. And all Muslims are encouraged to follow the steps of Muhammad. Think of that. Thinking of a Muslim getting hold of your daughter, and they kidnap kids all the time. Think of him kidnapping your daughter and marrying her. This has to be stopped, not just in the UK, but we've got to make sure it can't be done here. The UK says as long as he was legally married, we can't do anything about it. How about kicking the scumbag out so at least you're not participating in the rape of children? England used to have some stones. What has gone wrong over there? Oh, and this is even not worse. What could be worse than that? And I promise you full agitation. If that one doesn't do it, folks, you need to get a checkup from the neck up because you're sick. This one here, and we're going down this road. I promise you, we are going down this road. A British military officer is being investigated because he touched a Taliban soldier on the nose with a piece of paper. Didn't hit him in the face with a ream of paper. Didn't drop a box of paper on his head. He touched his face, his nose to be specific, with a piece of paper. And it made this Taliban feel uncomfortable. And the stories go on from there. The Ministry of Defense has paid out £19 million in compensation to approximately 350 Iraqis for wrongful detention and mistreatment. In one incident, a soldier had walked around a captured and blindfolded Iraqi militiaman. Now, mind you, these are people that behead civilians, that strap bombs to their babies' backs, that shoot and behead the very British soldiers that are interrogating them. He walked around this blindfolded Iraqi. And blew on the back of his neck. That was declared to be an invasion of personal space. And the judge said, I'm quite sure the detainee would have been intimidated by it. In another instance, an interrogator was criticized for breaching rules by shouting in a detainee's ear. They were afraid that he might have felt uncomfortable. It was a technique designed to scare the detainee and clearly involved an obvious risk of putting a detainee in immediate fear of physical violence. Another man was under investigation for slamming a tent stake down on a table and scaring a detainee. We're worried about scaring them with sudden noises. When they're beheading our soldiers, when they're dragging our men's body through the streets, and they're worried about taunting and goading them during interrogation. Folks, please stay with us. We've got a lot more coming up.
If the truth hurts, then AM 1050 KCAA can be a real pain.
Tom O'Halloran has a not-so-common core spelling lesson for the Obama administration. Ready? There is no K in America.
There's kids that can't pray in school, $100 tanks of gas. I can tell you right now, this country ain't supposed to be like that. No, that ain't my America. That ain't this country's roots. You wanna slam, hold on to Sam, but I ain't letting you. Yeah, I'm mad as hell, and you know I still bleed red, white, and blue. They ain't us, and that ain't my America. Oh no, that ain't my America. No, 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 no. That ain't my America.
Welcome back. This is Friday, so it's Jihad on America, and I'm your host, Tom O'Halloran. I'd like to thank all the folks in the chat room tonight. It's crowded. There's Roger and Sean Dorn. Roger's a host, and if you haven't caught his show, folks, in fact, even if you have caught his show, catch it again. He's upped his game. Roger did the greatest show he's, I think, ever done on radio. He runs Far Right No Apologies right here on KCAA every Friday just before my show. He starts at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Far Right No Apologies. Make sure you catch this. Coming up next, we've got a little tour through Scandinavia. A horror night in a Swedish Muslim ghetto. A woman was gang raped until bleeding with a gun, driven to an apartment and gang raped again before escaping into the night. Her father ended up finding her. They found a couple of the people that were perpetrating it. One of them was 21 years old, and he's been sentenced to 5 years in prison. A 19-year-old got 2.5 years, and then an 18-year-old was put into youth custody. Turns out if you're in Norway or Sweden and you're blonde, you have a 1 in 4 chance of getting raped in your lifetime. 100% of all rapes that have been reported, 100% of all rapes that have been reported in recent years in Sweden and Norway have been by Muslims. If you're not wearing a burqa, and especially if you have blonde hair, you are asking for trouble. Many Swedish women are now dyeing their hair black for the first time in their life, just to give them a little bit of an edge. People are starting to wake up, it looks like. Anti-Islamic arsonists have set fire to a mosque, injuring 5. I'm surprised we don't see a great deal more of this, both abroad and at home. But people are getting tired of it. Burn them out. Burn them out, pour pig fat on it, whatever it's going to take to get them to pack up and go home. A police station in a Muslim ghetto was attacked this week. 10 youths attacked the police station in Farista in southern Stockholm. They poured some kind of a flammable liquid, probably gasoline, over 4 or 5 police cars parked outside the police station, barred the front door so the police officers couldn't come outside and put the fire out. Took a plainclothes officer coming by to put an end to the mischief and capture one of the perpetrators. Hopefully that'll lead to others. But this is a regular thing, this violence, especially in Stockholm, Norway, and Oslo. It's nightly riots, nightly fires. They are getting horribly ugly over there. The question of can we turn it back around to be a peaceful country is almost off the table. Before the Muslims started their colonialist invasion of Norway, Oslo was virtually rape-free. A TV announcer was recently asked if he would suggest deporting 5 million French Muslims from from Norway, and he said, "Well, it doesn't sound very realistic, but history can be surprising." It's either that or just kiss your country goodbye, folks. Okay, look at what is being done over there. They have more Muslims, so they have more problems, a lot more problems. And if you remember, we talked about this just last week. Obama has already accepted orders from the United Nations to take on 75,000 new Syrian immigrants in the next 5 years. Now, they're not all terrorists. Let's say that only 10% of them are. So that's only 7,500 terrorists we're going to allow into this country willingly. That's only 7,000. How many will be in your town? In Turkey, newly elected president, he's been the, prime minister, but President Drojan, had a 16-year-old high school boy arrested for insulting him, giving a high school speech, and he insulted the president. So now the kid is under arrest. Who knows what it will be? 20 years in prison, his head on a platter. You never know with these guys. Now, for the last several weeks, it seems every week we've got this story. Same story, different town. This time it's a town called St. Anthony in Minnesota. A bunch of Muslims wanted to come down and build a large mosque right in town. The town council said no. It was a 4-1 decision. They were going to remodel this former